Hello, my name is Jamie McQuivey.
And I am Jared McQuivey.
And we just passed the MBLEx.
Woo! Yes!
And so we want to share with you our tips and tricks for doing that, especially because I have a background in health and wellness. My bachelor's degree is in holistic nutrition and consultation. I had several certifications, so I have a background, and I went to a really good, detailed school. Whereas
my background is nothing. I worked in IT for 15 years, teaching English, taught English for a year, roofing, construction, bus driving.
And his school was very didn't
was not
give
as
the
in
details
depth,
that he needed. So this is how it worked for both of us to pass. So whether you're new to the field or whether you have a background and are struggling with the test anyway, because it is a difficult test. It's probably, it was harder than any of my college courses.
And this worked for us. It may not work for everybody, but
yes.
And you may have heard some of the things that we say.
But we just want to share with you. So first thing is we calculated and we did about 80 hours of solid dedication. We're not talking about like sitting around, like when we were laser focused for 80 hours. And so we did ours in just 2.5 weeks. And so if you're doing yours over 6 months, whatever, but it takes a solid, we would say at least 80 hours of dedication. And some people have done it in less. Some people say that they've studied 4 days. Good for you, but
and materials you'll need will probably be, we really recommend this.
We're going to recommend this. This is the MBLEx
study guide
from the massage board. Oh, I did it the wrong way. Sorry. So it's actually from the people who make MBLEx. Now we used another one. We used MBLEx, and that actually made it a lot more confusing for us.
For us, yes.
And for us, it was, so when we got this, we were like, hallelujah. Okay, the next thing you're going to need are pens, pencils, and crayons. We only use 6 colors of crayons, but this is important, I think, to cement the ideas. And then you can actually see the card or see the image in your head, and that really helps.
Yeah. Cards.
And we'll go through and show you our little
cards. And oils. Essential oils.
We use specific essential oils for learning and retaining information, and I will put a link to those if you're interested. Otherwise, you can just use lavender, you can use peppermint, you can use whatever. The AMTA app.
Yeah, you can just get right on your smartphone.
And we got both the anatomy and the test prep app. They're both fantastic.
Yeah, used them every day.
Okay, so what we suggest is you start off first before you do anything else is with an intention. Why are you doing this? So I'll read our intention. So we wrote them down. Our intention was that we will understand all the information we need to pass the MBLEx on December 10th, 2018.
And then that will also easily remember and learn the material we go over.
And then we have children, so we put that the boys will be satisfied and occupy themselves with meaningful endeavors. So if you have kids, we have children, so it was important that that we take that into consideration. Okay, so the next thing is we also would turn on classical music every once in a while when we'd get kind of stressed, and there's classical music for study, and so do those ones that just really
I think I was wondering why classical music, but I think because what it happens is it plays in the background and it helps me focus more on what I'm trying to learn.
Yeah. Okay, then the next one is a big one for us. It's prayer. We would always start off with prayer. So if you're a prayerful person, really always start off with that. If you believe in the universe or a higher power or need to take 5 minutes to meditate, do that. Just get into that space where you can learn the most.
Yeah, and then also we would always get a cup of something hot and soothing. I'm not a big tea drinker, so I would just hot lemon water.
And I would have like ginger tea or lemon or water and lemon, and just something that just helps you relax, a relaxation tea, whatever. So we're going to go through 10 tips really fast because we don't want to make this a long video that you have to do. Okay, so we'll go back and forth. So the first tip that I have for you and that I worked with my husband on is study and know your prefixes, your Latin prefixes, but also these type of things, medial, your vocabulary, know basic vocabulary and basic Latin prefixes and suffixes, because oftentimes that will tell you exactly where the muscle is, or what it's doing, or how it is in relation with the body. If you know that, it can take your guesswork down by half.
Yeah, and there's questions that, the medial superior part of the wrist was hurt. What do you do? So
yeah,
that helps. Tip number 2 is understand, not memorize. So understanding what is going on and not just memorizing, because for heaven's sakes, I know I would forget if I had to memorize everything. So
and in this book, it's awesome because it will tell you what that you're supposed to focus on and what not to focus on. And so that was a big one for us because you don't know how deep you need to go. And so you'll love this book and following that. Okay, so like I said, understand, not simply memorize. Okay, tip number 3 is when you start to get into kind of a funk and you're tired and your brain's just not working, get up and move. 10 to 15 minutes if that means walking, doing jumping jacks, stretching, whatever that means.
Tip number 4, stay focused. Create a plan and stay laser focused. No matter what, I can branch off to different places, and so staying focused is very important.
So we did 4 to 5 hours a day. We broke it into 3 sessions, and we stuck to that. Even when people were like, hey, well, you want to come here? It's like, nope, sorry, we're studying. This is what we're doing. Tip number 5 is
we already kind of went over this one.
Create the intention and affirmation and use essential oils. So the affirmation we chose was, I am happily and easily studying for, taking, and passing our MBLEx on December 10th. And we would say that as we were putting on our essential oils for study.
Tip number 6, take a day off. At least one day off, because you don't want to burn out. And that goes back to tip number 3 as well, taking breaks. So take a day off of work or of study.
Okay. Tip number 7, plan a bedtime and wake time. So stick to it. Like ours was 10:30. TV was off. Phones were put away. We are in bed sleeping 10:30, period.
Yeah. Tip number 8. This one I enjoyed probably a little too much, but take those tests from the AMTA app. Take that prep. Take short tests, because then you can go through and learn which questions you didn't learn. If you take 100-question test, it's hard to go in and say, oh, man, I only got 56%. Then you've got 44 questions you have to go through. So if you take 10 to 25 question tests.
And we would do that on our own.
Yeah, we would do that.
This is outside of our schedule.
Our little studies group. Yeah, we would do it on our own. And then every once in a while, take 100 question test.
To build your stamina.
To build your stamina, because you get 2 hours to take 100 question test.
And it took way longer than
what
it takes on the app.
Yeah.
Okay, tip number 9. Observe people's bodies. So when we're talking about gait, and we're talking about posture, and we're talking about muscles, manipulate people, find someone to touch that you know.
We would use our boys.
We used our
we'd have
children.
Them stand in the anatomical
and then we'd have them
position.
laterally flex, and we'd feel and palpitate and get in there and know their bodies.
Yep. Tip number 10, watch short videos that are specified to what you need to know. There's lots of helpful videos out there on YouTube, but sometimes
and if they're 10
too long.
minutes long, that's still too long.
Yeah.
So we would and that's where we started. A whole bunch of 10, 20-minute videos. And that's all we were doing was watching videos. But we got the 2-minute videos that were like, what is concentric and eccentric?
Right, specific.
Very specific. Okay, so those are our tips. And so most people are asking, okay, well, what do we do? So we'd wake up in the morning and we'd semi get ready. Remember, we're doing this at home. We took 2 weeks off. This was our life. So you can adjust it as yours. But we'd get our beverage, we'd say our affirmation intention while putting the oil on it, and we'd start with a prayer and kind of feel it out. Like, what do we really need to work on today? But when we first started, we started with this massage book, like we said, and we went through each specific category. And if we did not understand it, we researched or we made cards. So like the skeletal one, we use colors. This is the axial versus the appendicular skeleton. And then on this side, it tells us about it. And that was very helpful because then you start to go into the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. And this is a great way to do that. We also used acronyms. So ACE was for afferent connecting and efferent neurons. And then on the back, we wrote a whole bunch of information. Then again, as we're understanding where things are. So these are where the glands or the major endocrine glands. And so we would like head, shoulders, knees, and toes. We can go pituitary, pineal, thyroid, thymus, and get to know it.
Yeah, we also did a couple of these that, so this is the brain, and just go through these with, get a study partner. That helps a lot. You can go through and quiz each other. What about the parietal lobe or the temporal lobes or the occipital lobe, frontal lobes, and what they do. It's just, yeah.
Okay, so back to kind of how our schedule went. So in the morning, we would usually be working out of the book. For about an hour and a half. I would set my timer, laser focused, hour and a half, and then we'd get up and we'd go on a walk with the dogs, or we'd get lunch, or it's like a brunch. But then we'd come back and we would continue working through this book. And then if we needed a break from the book, then we'd work on our cards. And if we needed a break from the cards, then we would
do the test. Or the anatomy app that's from AMTA. That's also great. But take the point of that is mix it up.
But really, what's easy to do is people will want to pull from this information. If you can stick to this book, your cards, simple videos, and the AMTA app, there's no reason to get overwhelmed with all the information out there and be, it's called the paradox of choice, where you feel like you have too many options that you make no choices at all.
Yep. So, and good luck on the test. We wish you all well. It is a tough test, but just go in prepared.
The tougher it is, the better you're doing.
And you will get questions that you have no idea how to answer. I got a lot, but
yes, break yourself up into sections, an hour and a half one, an hour and a half. Make sure you get those 80 hours in.
Yep, and you'll do good.
All right, good luck, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and we'll answer what we can. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.